folks. Welcome back to another episode live from Jerusalem with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg. Now, folks, in Jerusalem, they've got their election going today, and Rabbi Goldberg's in transit. So he's going to do about a 20-minute class for us while he's in his car from his phone. So without any further ado, let's just jump right in. Rabbi Goldberg, how are you doing today? We're joined by Tony in Arizona. And Rabbi, you've got the floor, sir.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Good evening from Israel. Good morning to you there in the United States. I'm fine, thank you. We have a very blessing day, even though it's the third election in 1 year. So it's a bit unusual situation, but we're managing. I think that it's very important that every person have the ability to have his free will, free freedom to decide and to do this election, not
Right.
only in Israel, but also in other places in the world. I think that the world worked very hard for several thousands of years until we came to a position where everybody, and it doesn't mind if he's what race he is or what gender he is, or if he have black skin or white skin, everybody have the ability to vote and to take part, except for a few countries. In the Arab countries, most of the countries is like that, and it's awesome. It's amazing. Uh,
Excellent.
what what I want to say a few words tonight. And since I don't have the text in front of me, I will speak about something a bit different that is related to morality and behavior. And for that, I want to take the analogy of the four ways how we are holding any material in our world. We have four ways how to hold those materials.
Right.
One way is that it's being stiff, like a metal, something very thick, that it's very hard, like stones, metals, other things. This is one way. The second way is, I will say, flexibility, like the water. So all the leaves that we have on the trees, and a lot of material that you have in this world is very flexible, just like the water that is very flexible. It's always moving from up below, from up there to the bottom. This is the water side. The third thing is that we have the gas. Okay, if you will take the water, for example, and we will burn the fire underwater, it will take a few minutes. The water will boil, and the water will become steam. So this is another way how to hold the material in our world. So if we're looking at this, every material in our world could be all very thick and very strong, like the stone, or it could be like the water, something very flexible, or it could be like the steam, something like um, on the air, we become gas or something similar to the gas. This is a third way every uh, how to hold every material in our world.
Yes. State.
Uh, and then we have also another very important part that you can't put it to anything, and this is the fire. The fire itself. This is basically the thing that is moving things from one stage to another stage. Okay, let's take for example, we'll take for example carrots, and we will put the carrots inside the water, and we will put it under the flame or above the flame. The flame will take the carrots. After a few minutes, the carrot that was very hard will become very soft. If you will take an egg, it will be the opposite. Okay, so the fire have the ability to change material from one place to another, from one stage to another stage. And this is basically the four, I will say, main forces that we have in our world. One is the thick one, like the earth, like the stones, all the
Solid.
very solid things. The second one is all the things that, like the water, very
Liquid.
soft things, that managing to move. How did you set it down?
Liquid.
There's liquid. The third one is like the gas things, and the fourth one is the fire. And those four stages that we today is speaking about how to hold every material is being known in the old world like the four main forces that we have: earth, water, wind, and fire. I think this, when I'm saying this in this way, people starting to say to themselves, we know this, those four forces, okay? When the most, almost a lot of the children things are speaking about those four forces that we have in our world. This is how the old ancient Greece, spoke about those forces. That we have earth, water, wind. This is the gas situation, the gas, and we have also the fire that is moving from one to one. Now that I said this, I want to move to another stage and to say that each one and one of us, as human beings, we are also being built up from those four forces. Okay? From those four forces, we have inside our body. Now, I'm speaking now about the physical body that we have. For example, we know that the blood is very hot. The blood is very similar to the fire, also with the color of the blood. Something very similar to the fire that is moving everything inside our body. We know that 80% of each body is liquid, like water. We have things in our body like the bones that are very similar to the earth, to the stones. So in our body, we have also all those four things, a combination of those four things that is building our body. But here I'm coming to the more, say, interesting situation where we have things that are similar to those four elements that we spoke about. Okay? And I want to expose now one of them, and the one is very similar to the fire. I want to explain a bit something in our character that from time to time we can see that is very similar to the fire. And this is something that the sages are saying all the time. It's very bad behavior, I will say it like that. And this is very connected to the opposite of the humility. Okay, the other side of humility is being very proud and with a lot of proud, each one with himself,
Arrogance.
someone with
Yes.
himself, a lot of arrogance. And then, for example, when he's getting mad or when he's getting angry, we can see his face suddenly is very red, very hard. He's screaming everywhere. He's shouting to on people. Um, and it's very unpleasant to be next to him, just like the fire. It's very unpleasant to sit too much close to the fire. And this is some sort of a behavior that is related or very close or very similar to the fire reorganizing themselves itself inside our world. And usually, what's happening is when someone is very angry, at the end of when he's finishing his boiled situation, this is where he's feeling very, I'll say, depressed with himself because usually you can achieve all the things that you wanted to achieve with a very calm situation without shouting, screaming, and behaving very ignorant on your friend or something like that. And usually what's happening is that people prefer not to be close to someone that this is his behavior. So this is an example of a behavior that we have that is very related or is very similar to the fire. Now, like we have this behavior, we have behavior with all of the four, I would say, elements that are very similar. For example, I will give another example. It's not the most comfort, I would say, example, but it is when someone is very lazy, very lazy. He doesn't have the ability to or drive inside drive to do things with himself. This is very similar to the stone, to the earth situation, where everything is, sitting down, nothing is moving, nothing have any movement. It could take 6,000 another place, even if when the water is on the stone, pouring on the stone, it will take something like few thousand years until it will do some sort of a hole inside the stone. So when someone have a lot of laziness, he's very lazy, he's not working, he's not doing too much. He doesn't have
Sloth.
the drive to act, to react, to do things. This is very similar to the.
Oh, we seem to lost you for a second there,
So
Rabbi. I
this
don't know
is.
if you can still hear us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so those four elements that I spoke about have basically a lot of main situation how we are behaving one with each other and with ourselves. Um, for this, I need also to go inside in much deeper way, and I won't have the time or the ability to do this now when I'm driving. But I will say another very important thing. We know that one of the seven mitzvot, one of the seven commandments that we have in the Noah laws is not we're not allowed to eat living limb. And I said this more than once that one of the most important things of this living limb is to teach us to have patience, and this is the I will say the fundamental thing of the beginning of how to behave with the bad things. Because usually, when you have patience, this is when you have the ability to start to think, to understand exactly how you feel inside, and how to control your reaction in the right way. I'm saying this because I'm referring to the corona virus that we have in the world and that is spreading out around the world. We know that today that the corona started with eating a living limb of animals. In China, they have some sort of a costume that they're eating also living animals. And there is a very big market there in China. Each year, in the beginning of the year, they have in this market, it's a very strange and unique animals that they're bringing from all over the world and from all over the places of the world, okay? From inside the sea, inside all sorts of places. And it's so unique, this market. This is what Chinese people told me in the last few days. It is so unique, this market, that people are going there from all over China to take those animals for their um, holidays, to eat them in the holidays, because this is very unique, one of the days of the holidays. And we know that the corona came from this costume that people ate from this market, from this specific market. People ate a living animal, and eating it when they're still alive, and it started the corona. So this is why we have few sages in Israel that did a very big pray for the Chinese. But on the other side, not only the pray that we did in, in the Western wall for the Chinese and for the world, but we also said we need to have some sort of an inside looking for ourselves to do a deep briefing about our behavior. Because when we are doing those things and we are not obeying to the moral things that God asked us to do, it is at the end of the day, it's hurting us back. This is the things that I wanted to say today. If there are any questions, I have a few minutes. Uh,
Well,
Dan, I was
that's
clear enough?
excellent. Yeah, Rabbi, that's excellent. We know you're busy. We know they've got elections
Hello.
going on in Israel. We're really looking forward to see what happens there and transpires. And but I think today you really touched on a point, especially about this coronavirus. I mean, I've heard rumors that it was from a bat wing soup or other things of that nature, but we know that it has to do with that. that Sheva mitzvot, ever menahai, not to eat the limb of a living animal, and how does that play out? I mean, to see this starting to spread. I mean, I don't believe in any panic, but anybody else got a question or a point about these four specific points Rabbi brought up today? Nice to see you, Renat, in Vilnius. Nice to see you, Mattis, and Daniel down in South America. Always a joy to have you with us, plus those online. Well, Rabbi, we don't have a ton of questions.
No, it's okay.
We didn't know what to expect today.
No, it's okay. I'm going out. Good night, everybody. I'm sorry that I'm short tonight. It was unexpected situation. Next week, hopefully, we'll have a full 1 hour meeting as usual. This meeting will be also related to the things inside the Bible and inside the Shulchan Aruch that we have. We're going to speak about those two things next week. I will send the links, and we can also spread the links on the internet as usual. And done a lot of blessing for this coming Wednesday.
Sure.
With a lot of, I will say, help and assistance from God for the things that you're going to pass and
Hashem is good. Hashem is good. Rabbi, we're going to stay online for a little longer,
yes,
if that's
yes,
okay.
Yes. I'm going out. Okay.
Keep us surprised with the election in Israel, and may Hashem bless you and your family and all Israel.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah, folks, I don't know. Rabbi mentioned about Wednesday for me. I've been doing this for a couple of years straight now. Been really pumping broadcasts for the last 20 months nonstop, right? Nonstop. I'm semi-retired, but I have had an opportunity this Wednesday. I've got a second interview with a local company, and if I happen to take that position, it will stop me from doing daytime broadcasts. Now, that'll be a big disappointment because of the 10-hour time difference from me to Jerusalem. It means I won't be able to do this class or my Wednesday class I do with Rabbi Chaim Kaufman. We're doing Perkei Avot. But it won't interrupt the classes I'm doing in the evening, like Tuesday nights I do one with Rabbi Schulman, and on Thursday last week we did a wonderful one with Rabbi Pinchas Levin. Again, after a couple of months, we took a break because he had a kollel going on in his synagogue in Wisconsin. I so enjoy doing this, but to me, connecting with Jerusalem, I believe, is the fulfillment of Isaiah chapter 2. That the word of the Lord will come from Zion. And I know that some of you folks, hey, we got Rav Peshek with us today. Maybe we can have him shared. Now, if you folks don't know this fellow, Peshek, now, Rabbi Goldberg gave us a 20-minute class while he was on route somewhere. I got a good crowd on YouTube, and we're joined. I want to introduce you to the class in the Zoom meeting. If you folks don't know this gentleman, Rav Peshek here is from Sfat, Israel. He's a wonderful gentleman who hosts a class on Wednesday night with some good friends of mine down in Tennessee, Scotty and Terry. And a lot of people I know on YouTube actually enjoy his time. But let me introduce you. Peshek, we got Tony in Arizona. He's a wonderful gentleman who's got a meeting later on with the Shabbat rabbi in Arizona. We got Daniel down in Bogota, Colombia. And we got our friend Renat, and he's in Vilnius, Lithuania. Plus the end, that's our friend Mattis, who's always looking to share. Peshek, maybe you can take a few minutes and chat with the group and tell us a little bit about your Torah for the Nations, maybe some of the things you and your spouse. We know you guys are pumping wonderful, great Torah there. I'll give you the mic.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the great intro. Wow, hope I can live up to it.
Well, Rabbi, you're an old car guy. I think you can roll with the punches.
Yeah, you got it. Hi, guys from around the world. Shalom. Bruchim ad nimtzayim. Blessed are those who are here in the gathering today. We thank you so much for being with us. I really have a limited time, too, because it's 7 o'clock, which is 8 minutes from now. I have a home group that I teach down in Virginia, and we do it over Skype. We do a lot of teaching. But if you go to TorahForTheNations.org, or you go to B'nai Noach Connection with Israel on Facebook, you'll see what we're all about, or Torah for the Nations on Facebook. You know, we do a little bit different than Rabbi Goldberg and some of the other people. Everybody gets real deep into these deep explanations of and uncovering deep secrets in the Torah. And we operate on a little bit different level, and a lot of people like it. We teach you how to be you. We teach you, God created you for a purpose. You're here because he created you and he wants you to do something for him. It doesn't mean change who you are. It just means make a better relationship with him. And so we try to help people be the best person they can be for God.
Wonderful.
And it's many people are finding this very freeing. Now, study is great, and going into the deeper secrets of Torah and all these things is wonderful. I've done it for years, but not everybody has to do it. If it's something that, okay, gee, it's great, I'll do it 10 minutes a day, or I'll take a course, but I still want to be me, we show you how to incorporate the teachings of the commandments that you need to do to follow, so you have that hardcore relationship with Hashem, which makes you, everybody calls Noahides, right? That name, actually,
it's uneventful, but
yeah, but in Torah, you know what you guys are called? The righteous of the nations.
Right.
You guys are called the righteous of the nations by God. And he gives you a promise that if you hook up to him and you just do what he says. Now, what does he say to do? All of Torah comes down to one sentence. Don't do to anybody else what you do not want done to you. And all the rest of Torah's commentary. And that's how the sages would teach it sometimes.
Yeah, wasn't that coined by the Hillel, the elder, Hillel the Great?
Yeah. But there were a few other stories. The thing is, what you learn about the stories in Judaism is this one over here says it, and you get another version of it here that says it, another version. But you get it from somewhere. But that's the bottom line of Torah. Be a decent human being to everybody. Be kind to animals. Take care of the Garden of Eden. We're sitting in it, and we botched it up real good, and we can see now what's happening around the world. We have to correct it.
Rabbi Goldberg just mentioned about the coronavirus and how he was talking with some Chinese folks there in Jerusalem, and they told him about a market, that's a specialty market there in China, where they're and he likened it or linked it with not to eat a limb of a living animal, and yet this market in China it's a specialty shop to them, and to them it's delicacies from all around the world, out of the sea and all over the place, and yet they're dabbling in these things, and they believe that it might be linked to this coronavirus getting out there. But we're not worried or afraid. We know that Hashem has a purpose and a plan for each one of us, and these wonderful folks on this group, I know the wonderful people in Vilnius are really working hard at growing their group. They've got some young families up there. And my friend Daniel in Bogota there, he's always plugged in with us, and we're so glad to have him. I noticed we had Cole with us earlier today. And, I've only met Tony here for a couple of weeks. But you're on the YouTube chat right now.
Excuse me, Renat. Not Renat, Dan, excuse me.
Sure.
I heard that Rabbi said that he has time till 7, and I have a question. May I ask a question of the Rabbi?
Pashek, is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Rabbi, my name is Matas. I'm from Vilna, Lithuania.
Ken, welcome.
Yeah, Jerusalem of Lithuania. I have a question. You said about page Torah for the Nations or something like that. And
right.
You just Googled it and didn't find it.
TorahForTheNations.org.
TorahForTheNations.org.
Yeah.
And that's the main website where you hold your lectures, yes?
Well, we do it there, but the lectures, most of the stuff goes out on Facebook. There's a group on Facebook called B'nai Noach Connection with Israel.
B'nai Noach Connection with Israel.
And there's another one, Torah for the Nations, Facebook. you can get into either one of those, and you'll connect together with it all. And you can friend me, Pesach.
Mattis, yeah. Pashek is, he kind of just hooked up with Rabbi Goldberg. He went all the way down from Sfat. He's been doing these classes with some friends of mine in Tennessee and Kentucky. There's people down south, plus some others that join in with us regularly. And my friend Terry hooked on to Pesach, Rav Pesach here a while ago. But him and his wife have been doing this Torah for the nations for a long time. From what I understand, Rav Sherwell, you're from Baltimore originally before you moved to Israel. Is that correct?
Yeah, from Maryland, closer to Annapolis. I like the water. Annapolis is on the Severn River in the Chesapeake Bay, and I've always owned boats till I came here. So,
yeah, Mattis, I know that him and his wife have been doing several broadcasts for quite a while. His wife puts out some nice short shows that are great for women, but she really throws out some nice curveballs that have you think. And I've had a chance to sit in their group a few times on Wednesday evenings for me here. And all I can say is they have a real clean approach to the way they share the practicality of Torah, because we're still growing a lot of communities here in North America. And we need shows like that, especially for those that want to get legs under their feet, in the sense that they're just starting to grow and act, and how do they begin to put it into play in their local communities? And that's really what it's about. I love to connect with Jerusalem and know what's going on, but when the rubber hits the road, yeah, we all have to live in our communities. I know Daniel down in Bogota, we got Tony in Arizona, you folks in Vilnius, Lithuania. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, and I'll tell you, leaning towards those that are Torah scholars is great. And I know that Rav Pashak here is hooked up with Rabbi Goldberg about a month ago, and Rabbi Goldberg gave Torah for the Nations, signed by Rabbi Shirky, the founder of the Noahide World Center, endorsed what they're doing there, because I know what they're doing is solid and sound, and it's all good to know that it's under one branch. And you know, I stuck with the Noahide World Center because they showed me their endorsements through the chief rabbinate. And for me, that's really a degree of where soundness comes from. So I think he just put something in the chat box. You might be able to find the link there. But yeah, you continue, Mattis, if you got any questions before he's got to run.
Yes, I have a question. So, Rabbi, Pesach, or how to pronounce
Pesach,
it?
perfect. Pesach, that's perfect.
Pesach. Yeah, like the first Pesach, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, Rabbi Pesach, I wanted to ask, and you said you have those lectures. How often your lectures are during the week?
We only do it once a week right now, and it's on a Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. USA time, which is 3:30 a.m. Israel time. So
they're in Vilnius, so they're on the same time frame as you, Pasak. They're just directly north. So yeah, 3:30 in the morning. I just want you to know how committed this gentleman is. He's up at 3:30 in the morning to do these classes. Now for me, it's 8 p.m. Eastern. That's the eastern coast of the United States. I'm in the West, so that's 5 p.m. for me. I got to skip dinner. It depends on my wife's schedule. So, but he's up at 3:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning to put that broadcast together. I know it's pretty early for you guys, but if you find him and friend him on Facebook, you can see some of these broadcasts. The truth is, it's just clean stuff.
They're also, we have a YouTube channel, and it's on YouTube. I put the links to Torah for the Nations and the Facebook page for B'nai Noach in there for you in the chat room. So you just click on the links. But you had a question. Did we get to the question?
Yeah, and so you're based in Israel or in the United States?
No, Israel. We're in Sfat, Israel. The highest. Okay. We are the highest city in Israel by elevation wise, not spiritually, that's Jerusalem, but
I know the city of Arizal. So that's all. So I wanted to ask a last question. So this is like a morning lecture. Earlier I've been to Bnei Bnei Baruch movement. Maybe you know secular Kabbalah movement, and they have morning lectures every morning, 15 minutes to 3. So they call it morning lectures, and this is daily. And I was used to connect that, but later I just disconnected to find some path with religion. So this is not a question. Yeah.
Thursday morning.
Yeah.
At 3, if you go to the link I put on there for B'nai Noach Connection with Israel, there'll be a link there. Thursday morning at 3:00 my time, I start the meeting.
And how long does it take?
The meeting? It depends on the people that are in the meeting. It can run up to 2 hours.
Okay.
Because we open up the floor, people can ask questions, we talk about things. It's a really good group to get to know. Good group of people.
Yeah. My friend Terry Hayes down there, he's got a blog, Imuna Trek. He's always writing some beautiful stuff. He's in right around. Is he around the Chattanooga or Nashville?
Yeah,
I think he's closer to. I think he's closer to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and you got Scotty Helton there, and Thomas, and I know Angelica jumps in there from time to time. Veronica, several people I know. It's a beautiful group, but they're teaching beautiful stuff, and we're just so glad you popped on, Rav Sherbo. It's a joy to have you. I mean,
I was looking forward to it, but the evening prayers ended later today. And I came home and I had to get a little bite to eat. And I'm supposed to be in another meeting right now, the home group in Virginia. By the way, I will meet with anybody anytime you want to get a group of people together. If you just want to talk, we can set up a scheduled time anywhere you are in the world, and we can do that. We're totally open to communicate with people. So if you need anything, you want questions, just get a hold of me. We're here.
Yeah, that's awesome of you to stretch out your hand like that. And, Rabbi Goldberg's getting so busy these days, and sometimes he's so involved, and we love him. I appreciate everything he does. It's just sometimes it's hard to get a personal connection one-on-one, and I know he never stops whenever he sees an opportunity he's able to meet. But, I try to tell a lot of these people that are looking more and more to the Sheva Mitzvot, they need to be realistic. Understand there's only this many Jewish folks. And then there's only this many that you could clearly say are of the righteous remnant, or this many that are rabbis, or this many that are true Orthodox, and this one, the many. It gets fewer and fewer and fewer to truly get the gold.
Dan, let me just interrupt you for 1 second. Not every rabbi knows what we're talking about. There are very few of us. There are very few of us. That I've been doing this since around 2004.
20 years or 16 years.
Yeah, and Rabbi Chaim Goldberg's been doing it quite a bit. There's some other people that have been doing it. The trouble is getting a hold of the person who's going to take you in the wrong direction, because it happens, and they're well-meaning, but they haven't done enough studying, and there is no certification in the Jewish teachings about who's a rabbi for the Noahites and who isn't. So you have to decide, but you want to stay away from people that knock other rabbis. You want to stay away from people that knock anything the sages say. You want to stay away from people that tell you, I got it right and the others got it wrong. You want teachers that don't have to make their reputation on knocking other people. Yeah. So if you hear somebody say that, I don't care if they're a Jewish rabbi, they shouldn't be saying it. But if they do, say, okay, that's enough of that, and go on to the next thing. If anybody needs direction, anybody needs help, just get a hold of us. We're here basically 24/7, 24/6, because Shabbat we're closed. I love you guys. Dan, thank you. I got to go. The other meeting's waiting.
All right.
For me
bless you and your wife.
God bless you guys. Nice meeting you.
Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Well, back to those 4 points that Rabbi Goldberg had brought up about the difference between, earth, water, wind, and fire, and he likened them with states of solid and liquid and gas and fire, and tried to bring us to the conversation of character and how anger is just, like fire. It can run wild. It can take over your life, and it's not something that we should take part of. How it bends towards the arrogance and pride. There's some beautiful stuff there. I find learning from the rabbis, there's a lot of cognitive, emotional, behavioral therapy, and everything's, in its proper order. Anybody in the panel got anything they want to share? Daniel, how about you down in Bogota?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good to
I'm great.
see.
I'm great. Thanks, God. It's always good to see you guys too. Well, regarding this topic, I think what Rabbi tried to explain a little bit was about the bad character traits that we all have, and I surely know that we cannot get rid of them. They're always with you, but you can actually work on yourself in a way that you can use those character traits for good. You can actually like
Yeah,
change
I think he was
half of
trying to get
them.
across how to show some restraint, self-control, and think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know there's a time for everything, even to be angry. But sometimes you got to be angry even to yourself, to your own self, to not allow yourself to do bad things. Or when you're like raising your children or something like that, there's a proper way to do everything in this life, even with the bad character traits. you know
Yeah, like a loving parent sometimes has to feign anger. They have to feign it. Feign, FEIGN. In other words, it's not genuine. It's not torturous torment. But they have to feign it to show disapproval so that the child understands. And that's the most loving parents will do that. And it's a shame, but children are not robots. They're living, breathing, and they will test your waters, especially for you young parents there in Vilnius. They will try your heart, test you, push you, and try to get their own way. And if their ways are leading down the wrong way, as a parent, yes, sometimes you got to feign anger in order to set them on the right path. But even King Solomon had said there's a time for this and a time for that. There's a time to love and a time to hate. Putting that all into proper perspective, though, is really, I find character development is just something that nobody can do without. And anybody else got anything they want to share? I wasn't sure. Rabbi Goldberg had told us last week, we might have a short show today. I just want you folks to know this may be my last Monday broadcast for a while on YouTube. You can always connect with Rabbi Goldberg and get in with the gallery. And I know that maybe Peshek might help him do some broadcast onto YouTube. I've tried to take my skill set and try these last couple of years and try to support the rabbis that need the skill set that I have in the sense of, I've done a lot of CG artwork and broadcasting and some animation. And so I've tried to, lend those tools to those rabbis in need, because let's face it, there's so many people starting to turn to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And it's very, very difficult if they're not being reached. And with social media today, we get to meet such wonderful people from around the planet. It's a joy. It's a joy and a personal fulfillment. But I may have to take some time off from daytime broadcasts. I'll know later this week if I'm going to take this position, but we'll see. Hashem knows all our days before one of them ever began, and the steps of a good person are ordered by Hashem. So in order to wisdom decrees, our function if we think about it. And these 4 points that Rabbi Goldberg brought out today, I think if we sit back and take a deep breath, we can know when to appropriate acting from a certain position. And arrogance is one of these things that the rabbis say should be so far on the one side of the scale. You should avoid it at all costs. And that, truthfully, they say an eighth of an eighth. It only exists. You're allowed 1/64th of arrogance is only a permissible on the for someone in order that they might teach. And I don't know. You probably don't have this problem down in especially in Vilnius, but we've watched here in the West, Renat. We've watched the Western public school system decay. Okay, when I was a child starting school, and all I can say is there were Catholic nuns. They carried a stick, and if you were out of line, you got whacked on the backside. Right? The reality is, we had lines painted in our recess area. Girls on one side, boys on the other. We watched that decay, and we watched slowly. It just opened right up to the point where you've got some major metropolises here in North America, in Los Angeles, and in New York, and some in Florida. There's places where they actually high schools have weapon. They have screening for weapons when the kids go to school. They literally walk through the school. They got to go through an X-ray machine to make sure they're not carrying any firearms and weapons. And to see the decay go from one side to the other, that children feel that insecure and that scared. It's a downturn and a decay. And how do you turn that around unless you bring in some morals, unless you bring in some framework? And I find that the Sheva Mitzvot provides that. It provides the deep moral understanding, and it provides the framework for structure to begin to live again. But humanity, if they don't show any restraint, nor love or care for their community or their self, it spills out all over the place, and nobody enjoys that. So anybody else got any questions or points? I mean, we can cut it early. We've been going for about 45 minutes, but for me, if this is my last Monday broadcast for a while, I'm going to miss you guys. If I don't get to see you guys from Vilnius for a while, if I don't get to see you down in Bogota, it's not because I don't want to be there. Wisdom decrees. Like I said, I've been doing this for a couple of years. I've had a little bit of support. I've been getting some donations from a few people here in North America, and nobody can do it forever at their own expense. And wisdom decrees. I'm still too young to retire, and Rabbi Goldberg had encouraged me to build an online academy, and I spent almost 600 hours putting this together. And there's a little indifference because I need rabbinical support. As a B'nai Noach, I find there's a bit of everybody understands as a B'nai Noach there's a prohibition against forming a new religion. Okay, 100%. Yet the saddest part is with B'nai Noach in their mindset today, if you as a legitimate B'nai Noach start to venture out away from a rabbi to do something in your own community, there's always somebody behind there trying to say, oh, he's on his own, he's doing his own thing, he's forming a new religion. And that's not the case. I mean, Rabbi Goldberg gave me an endorsement to function as an Ohio leader. And, that is something that I cherish. That is something that, bring a tear to a glass eye is all I can say is you get thankful that somebody through the authorized rabbinical chain says, hey, you should do this. But the B'nai Noach, even here in North America, even though there's thousands upon thousands of them, they're still spread out and scattered abroad, and communities are slowly developing and popping up. How do you begin to do that and make that happen in your community as a B'nai Noach? I know I've got friends that have tried, and I was even chatting with Tony, connecting with rabbis in their area. It's very, 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 very difficult. Rabbis at the local level. I mean, I do a class on Tuesday night with Rabbi Schulman called Living the Noahide Life. And he gives the framework for why the Jewish people, they've called them ghettos in the past, where they like to all congregate in one area. And they do that because they believe in family. The Shabbat is all about, connection with family and Hashem. And the reality is that they want, they don't want certain elements in their community to them. So it's a tight knit community. So how do, B'nai Noach, grow? If we can't just go in and meld with their community, the truth is the majority of them that are non-rabbis, they're like, ooh, I don't want to be around this goy, even if they're a B'nai Noach. I don't want my children to be influenced, And so there's a degree of holiness in what they're doing and the way that they live, and we need to respect and appreciate that. But we also have to have the fortitude to grow, and I think we need to grow it properly through endorsed rabbinical orders and chains, or else the potential to be considered rogue and developing your own religion, which is incorrect. And so, where I'm connected with some people in Washington State a little bit, some people down in a little further. Some people in Vancouver, my friend Angelica, who attends regularly, and her husband George down in Vancouver, Canada, and a few others. Plus, there's a few people I chat with regularly here in my local community. But this position I might be going for, be doing some property management and things of that nature. It may open up an opportunity where I can find a locale and actually set up a Torah, a Noahide study hall. I mean, because we're not looking for a house of worship like the Christians, right? It's not like that at all. And so how do we begin to flesh this out as B'nai Noach and make it fit in our communities? You need to, first of all, have a bit of thick skin, because there'll always be accusers saying, oh, he's rogue, he's starting his own thing. If I don't break away and take this opportunity, if it opens up for me, it may allow me, in a year or two to open things up here in my local community and begin to flourish from that. And I'll still do broadcast from there. But as far as me broadcasting full time, you can only do it, I'm not fully retired and I'm too young to retire. And, so economically speaking, if you don't have the support, it's very, very difficult, right? It's very, very difficult to, and so, a lot of rabbis you'll find they do B'nai Noach work part-time. Pashak, who came on there, Sherbo up in Sfat, he's retired. And so, Sfat, there's a lot of lovely rabbis that live up in Sfat. And it's good to see that people take the time out of their life. Now, Rabbi Goldberg, still a young man. He's only, I think, a year and a half older than I am. And, he retired after a 30-year career and then just jumped back into what the nation of Israel is called to be. It's such an honor to connect with somebody who's so focused. It's like, yeah, I finished a career, maybe he's pensioned. I know he's involved in a few other things, but his life is committed to fulfilling the call of Hashem for the nation of Israel, and to see him reach out and share with people from around the globe. Everybody wants to connect with the rabbi. But B'nai Noach has to get to the point. The Noahites have to get to a point where, hey, they're willing to support local rabbinic or local Noahide leaders in order for that to even snowball. And I'm thankful for the little bit of support I do get. I even get people from Kentucky. I get people from Florida that have given me donations. It's small ones, but I've spent thousands of dollars last couple of years just in advertising. Social media broadcasting, try to support some rabbis. Get it out there. Got to get it out there. And I've met rabbis that don't even get the support they deserve. And so, here in the West, I don't know about there we've Renat shared with us before about the old Iron Curtain mentality that was there around religion in the old USSR, but here in the West, I mean, we have watched, Christian mission or ministries flourish financially, mega million, pastors, buying jets and all, and they're so far off base. Marketing holy water and prayer cloths and all kinds of phoniness, that it is disconcerting to see the support that they get from, the blind, that when you get a hold of something that's truly authorized, that's truly in the line of what the chief rabbinate support, endorse, we all need to be a part of what's real and what's genuine, and we know that it's there in Torah, and that's why we have turned to the Sheva Mitzvot, and what Hashem has factually asked of us, and to spread that and bring clarity to that. I was chatting with Tony a little bit before you guys all came on, getting to know him more, and he's going to meet a rabbi, and I says, just as a note of reminder, we need to lose that religious neurotic behavior, that thinking that, I'm being a part of something that's so huge. Well, yes, we are, but a tree has to keep its roots in the ground in order to stay nourished, and we need to understand as B'nai Noach that our nourishment comes from the Torah, and we know that. But let fruit be produced from that position. So if we're mobile and we're in our communities, fruit of the Sheva Mitzvot need to be noticeable by those in our area, but not in a neurotic sense. I don't know about you guys, but I came out of some heavy evangelical, spent a lot of years around Pentecostal and evangelical, some called them, one organization, MFI, Ministers Fellowship International, they were called the Christian Nazis. I hate to say it. I mean, it's terrible, handle, but in a lot of denominations viewed them that way because they were very strict. But more than that, when you got into their worship services, where to me, I developed a very, very dark distaste for it, because it was religious neurotic in the sense that they to me, it resembled the prophets of Baal in the times of Elijah. But so many people went for the worship, and I found that the clarity that is there in the Sheva Mitzvah, being a Noahide is not Christianity minus JC. It's so much more, and I am so honored to have a rabbi of Rabbi Goldberg's character share that with us, the depth of it. I know his English isn't the clearest, but the reality is he selects those words that get it across, and I keep praying for his success. And I know he's involved with training rabbis down there to be able to adequately meet the Noahide where they're at. And with the last North American Noahide magazine, the digital edition, I did an article. He gave me a picture of Renat's wedding in it, and Rabbi Goldberg shared an article about the struggles, and especially here in the West. I mean, those coming out of Christian backgrounds, they do put up with a degree of hatred. They put up with a degree of resistance. For me, that's settled. They stay away from me. They don't like to debate anymore because I like to pop their bubbles fast. But I don't mean to be rude or crude, but clear. And I wish you guys all well. So if I'm not broadcasting in the next several weeks, I don't want you to think it's not because I don't want to. It's because wisdom decrees. That I can't live off of. I'm too young to expect to just do nothing except broadcast, and it's somewhat wrong of me to do so. And I live in a beautiful region. If an opportunity opens, I'll still be doing as many broadcasts as I can in the evening. And who knows, maybe in a number of years, I'll get back to doing it more than full time. But I've tried to use my hand and do a lot of CG work for rabbis, and hoping that would open up some opportunities. And it hasn't done it in 2 years. And you have to get to the point where you say, okay, I can't do this forever for nothing. It's great to get the non-magazine 2 editions. I'm nearing 35,000 views, which is pretty cool. It's not super successful, but it's cool to know that there are people out there that are looking at this, testing the waters, asking questions, and we're growing. And I want to encourage each and every one of you guys, especially Tony down in Arizona, Daniel, Renat, and Mattis. You guys are like leaders in your area, and I hope you guys continue to grow in your area, and people see the light that's shining, that's true Torah light, along with the audience that's listening on YouTube. So, anybody want to share some closing words? Because it's been almost an hour, and I'm going to miss you guys on Monday mornings, but I will check in when I can. But it's all pending this second interview on Wednesday. But
Dan, I want first to big thank you for all the massive work you have done all these years, and that you have put your enthusiasm, time, and money. And God sees everything, and He records in His book. Because spreading Torah is the most valuable thing a man can do in this world. So you've done, I think, pretty enough to merit a place in the world to come. But
I got much more things on the go. I had more cameras sent yesterday, and I got some stuff I want to throw together, because I want to provoke some of these rabbis to really just say, hey, this is the real deal out there. There are genuine people of the 70 nations that want the Torah from the rabbis. And so I'm working on a few more things, and I'm excited.
Yeah, but as Rabbi Chaim told me recently, because I had to excuse myself because I started just a new job and I was not able to join one of the classes on Monday. And he just told me, Renat, your main job as a man in the family is to be provider for your family. So we, as men, we have responsibilities to put bread on the table. So God sees this, and he also understands this. So again, thank you for all the great work you've done, and I believe that you continue doing this. But thanks to your contribution, many people already got connection to God, closer to Judaism, or found the truth in Judaism. So I think you already dramatically.
Renat, I'm excited to say I've met some wonderful friends in Vilnius. I got some friends over there. I'm not afraid to say that, and I consider you and Matt as good friends. So if you don't see me for a while on these Mondays, I'm still going to be out there on social media.
We're gonna miss you, Dan. We're gonna miss you.
I miss you, and honestly, we wish that God help you to get the job and start a new stage in your life.
When you get north of 50, Renat, I kind of retired early, pre-tired early. I've spent actually the last 5 years working hard at trying to give Hashem great glory. But I'm at that stage where, I don't drive that much. I live in a beautiful area with tons of wineries. My wife and I bought this new house. We downsized a year and a half ago. And, I still drive my S-Class Mercedes. I'm happy. But, what do you do? What do you do? You give Hashem glory, and you do it the right way. And, if I can say one thing, avoid being religious neurotic. Keep it real, folks. And, you know what? I better shut it down at that, because if not, I'm going to get teary-eyed, and we don't want that. Just know I appreciate you guys. So, yeah. I'm going to shut it down on YouTube right now, guys. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. But hook up with Rabbi Goldberg, and don't be afraid to find him in social media. You can get in on the Zoom class itself, or he's going to have somebody else be doing the postings onto the YouTube page. I'll still be doing broadcasts in the evening. I got one planned tomorrow. I do have one more day broadcast on Wednesday with Rabbi Kaufman, but I may have to cancel the daytime, so I'll know more by the end of the week. But Hashem be with you all until I see you next time. I wish you guys all the best, and bye for now.